Hi folks, I want to give you maybe the last advices about how to solve in statics an exercise. So because it's always a general rule. First thing, you see the structure. Second, you remove the supports, put the reaction, and after write the equation of statics. Now what kind of structure? If the structure is like this, there are two bars, and here's a force, might be a weight. This is called a system, a concurrent system of forces. So what we do, if I cut the bars, if this is bar number 1, and this is bar number 2, I draw the free body diagram. I have the force T2, I have the force T1, and I have the force given P. We have two unknowns, the one which are with red, and of course two equations. We cannot have three because this is a concurrent system of forces. In this case, the equation that I have to write is sum of the projection of the forces in the axle X equals 0, sum of the projection of the forces in the axle Y equals 0, and from this you find the two unknowns T1 and T2. Of course, those angles should be known, of course, because the geometry of the problem is given all the time. Another typical exercise that we saw examples are when I have this kind of supports. If I have this kind of supports, guys, you see this one is a fixed support. The fixed support cannot move, can only rotate. Everything that is connected to this support can only rotate. The door can only open and close. So if I remove this support, I have to put two unknowns, one vertical, one horizontal. And of course, if the signs that I guessed for those vectors is wrong, I'm going to flip it. If I have this kind of support, in this case, you see I have now 2 degrees of freedom. This support can move and rotate, so it cannot move only vertically. And if it does not move vertically, it's a reaction. So it's only one reaction here, one vertical reaction, which might be going up or going down. Who cares? The reaction is always perpendicular to the surface of contact. So if I have, for example, an exercise like this, I have those two supports here. Here I have two unknowns, here I have one, you see? And let's suppose that I have one force in here. So now, what I do, I draw the free body diagram. What should I do? I draw the same thing, exactly the same thing, so always it's the standard way of doing the exercises. And this is the force, and here is the reactions. Here I have this horizontal reaction, HA, and a vertical reaction, and I'm going to have a vertical reaction. I'm going to draw it like this, VA, VB. You see now, sum of the forces in the axis horizontal should be 0. P and HA should have the same value. P and HA make a couple, which rotate this way. VB and VA is a couple as well. Why? Because the sum of the forces in the vertical should be 0. How can it be 0? If those two are equal. So always, even if you make the calculations, you are going to have the same result. However, I want you to think first. For example, very typical exercises, example is statics are those one. Here is a fixed support, and here is a moving support. And all the forces are vertical. If the forces are vertical, they are not horizontal reaction. If I write sum of the forces in the axis horizontal equals 0, this reaction here, XA, is going to be 0. And of course, the reaction YA and YB should be like this to hold this force. If the force is in the middle, these are equal. If the force is closer to YB, this reaction should be bigger. If the force is closer to YA, the active force, the reaction should be bigger this way. So always in statics, you have to follow the same path. Now, by the end, I'm going to give, so don't be afraid of, because many students are asking me, what about the test, what about the test? You have been tested enough. You have the assignment, so you are going to have very simple thing in multiple choice test, very simple things. So I'm not going to put a pressure on you because that I know that you have enough pressure. But statics is easy. I'm sorry we couldn't finish this part in class together, but does not end here. It's just the beginning. You are going to see next year how many times you are going to go through this concept, because these are not only for statics, are for many other disciplines to go through. Okay, thank you.